Good morning, noonish.
How you guys doing?
How are we doing? We're good.
Can you guys go around the room and introduce yourselves? If you would.
I think we just did that, right?
Well,
So long since we've seen all of
I know, right?
We're old friends.
I'm Ian.
I'm Ryan.
I'm Nash.
Guy without a mic. I'm Jamie.
He's my brother, Jamie.
gonna be
I'll do the
Scooby.
talking for him. Okay, we have a few rules. You have to participate. You have to clap and sing. And if you don't, we bite.
You have to speak.
Some of these girls might like that, though. So I would say let's hold off on the biting for later, maybe.
All right.
You two right here. Before we get started, a couple questions for you
Yeah.
guys. The past 8 months, what have you been up to? Anything important the past 8 months, or
We-
just kind of chilling?
We have been on the road for almost that entire time. We have been on our very first headliner, which is the Beautiful Freaks Tour, and we went to Australia with Taylor Swift. And
How was that, by the way?
It was amazing. It was pretty crazy. It was cray.
It was great.
Yeah.
I would be like afraid to go on tour with Taylor because I tend to swear a lot and act like a dude. And
Yeah.
Taylor is so like holy in a way.
Yeah, she's
Are you guys
very-
afraid to like act normal around her?
You know,
No,
yeah, we
what-
did change one of the lyrics and whatever.
Really?
Yeah, we didn't say shit. We said stuff. Something like very innocent.
When you're all out of luck, is what it was.
Yeah.
No, well, I'm not afraid to be. We're not usually afraid to be ourselves around her. She's more wholesome, but she knows we're dudes.
Well, definitely, she gets it.
She's
Yeah.
been around musicians her whole life,
Yeah.
so she gets it.
Exactly. So you guys, the single Tonight came out, and was it like June of last year, on the June, July?
February
It came out
14th.
February 14th of last year.
I guess it started getting like the big pickup though towards
Yeah.
the summer, right?
Yeah.
So since then, you guys have been going nonstop. What's the craziest part of this ride been so far for you guys?
I think going from, I think we were in a van and trailer in February of last year, and not even playing shows for really anybody except for like opening up for people, and selling out House of Blues, and like playing so many sellouts across the country has been pretty unbelievable. But winning the American Music Award was probably one of the coolest things in the world.
Give a round of applause for that, right? You mentioned being the opening act. What's the hardest part of being like the opening act when you just get started as a band?
Winning over a crowd that's not yours.
Definitely.
We've spent so many years touring and never headlining, only just opening for acts. And we've been fortunate enough to play with a lot of awesome people like Third Eye Blind and among many others. But that, as an example, was a very, very difficult tour because, as you can imagine, Third Eye Blind fans are like die hard.
Yeah, exactly.
And they don't want to see Hot Chelle Rae dancing around playing songs that they don't know. But you have to like really play your best to try to win over anyone in the crowd you can.
And with the Taylor Swift tour, how'd that happen? Did Taylor call you guys, or how's that? What's that like? First of all, getting the call saying, "Hey, Taylor Swift wants you guys to go on tour with her."
Taylor was a friend of ours pre-tour. So Nash and I met her. I don't know if you guys remember, but she did a parody called "Thug Story" of Love
Yeah.
Story. Nash and I actually co-wrote and produced that.
Really?
Yeah.
That
So
was an awesome
that's
song.
how we met her, and we just stayed in touch with her and became friends, and we started to get bigger in Australia, and we had already been there once before, and it was really like, it was more of like a, hey, you guys want to come on tour with us? And we were like, yeah.
And then she guys brought you out in one of the US states too, right? As a surprise guest for a show.
Yeah, during VMA weekend, we guest spot performed in her show at Staples Center.
And how crazy was that when you go out there and the crowd goes crazy for
First
you?
arena.
Yeah.
First arena at
Yeah.
Staples Center?
The first time you see, 17,000 people, and they're singing every word to one of your songs is pretty crazy.
Yeah, it was cool to like be a part of it.
We rose up on the elevator lift and all that
Wow,
stuff.
that's been awesome.
It was
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the whole package for the first time. It was cool.
That song, obviously, with the New Boys. Right?
Yeah.
Is it hard when you collaborate with another artist? Is it kind of like you guys give them a guideline, say this is where we want it to go, or do you more like let them do what they want and then kind of be like,
The guideline for that song, Legacy texted me when he was writing the rap. He was like, "Do it gotta be clean?" And I said, "It's gotta be able to be played on radio and not bleep out every word." And I came back with that.
And that's all it took?
Yeah.
What's the writing process like for you guys when just internally in the band?
It's different all the time. The thing that people I don't think they realize about songwriting is inspiration kind of comes from everywhere. Whether it's something that someone says to you in passing, or like an emotion that you feel, being away from your family. And the songwriting process can be anything from like it could be a title. It could start with Ian could say something to me, and I'm like, man, that sounds like a song idea.
Butter.
Could be.
Maybe like Kiss 107.5 Lounge in Des Moines could be a song title. Right?
That would be a little
catchy.
more challenging.
It's right to the point. It's catchy.
It'd be challenging.
Support me, guys. I'm gonna be like, oh, that's dumb. Be like, yeah.
I'll see if I can pencil you in, sometime.
I have a question from a listener.
Okay.
Lexi, where's Lexi? Lexi again. She has a question for Nash. Do you feel like you have to be better than your brother because he's also famous?
Do I feel like I have to be better?
Yes.
I don't have to do anything. No. It's cool having him kind of do the entertainment industry, but a different path. Because it is like, they're very different worlds, and we get to kind of experience each other's every now and then. Like, I'll go on a set of where he's filming, and he'll come in the studio or like a show of ours and hang out. So it's really cool having a sibling that really gets what you're doing, but also does something different, so you're not really going neck and neck and like actually competing.
Awesome.
Like Jamie and Ryan.
I was gonna say, how's it for you guys to be on the road together?
It's easy breezy.
Wait, who's the oldest one?
I'm older than him.
So does mom, dad call you and be like, is he doing okay still? Or?
You know what? It's so weird. Our parents are like, my mom like direct messages me on Twitter.
Really?
Yeah.
So she follows you then, obviously.
My parents are like social media crazy. Like they're on Facebook all the time. I think my dad posts on Jamie's wall more than anybody.
That's not a joke.
Poking? A little poke to
He's like, dude, just call me.
And you guys, your parents are also music writers, right? They're songwriters. Yeah. Is that pressure then to kind of, not necessarily fill their shoes, but make them accept you as a songwriter? Is that kind of filling those shoes?
I think it's the opposite. I think it relieves the pressure. Having all of our parents are in the music business, and having them know that your job is a real job and that you actually can make it at what you do, and because they've done it, really, really relieves the pressure of, like feeling like you're forced to go into, quote, a real job or like go to school or do anything like that. So it kind of had its benefit, and we felt like motivated.
Well, my parents are teachers, so they're always like correcting my papers during class. They ever be like, maybe you guys should do this lyric here instead?
They do. If every once in a while, they put their 2 cents in for sure.
Do they ever correct your like liners or the ID?
Oh, they listen. My mom will listen to like my breaks and be like, no, that wasn't proper English in that break. I'm like, oh, God. Luckily, she's back in Minnesota, so don't worry about that. Next question is Kylie. Is that right, Kylie here? Okay. It's for Jamie.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna read this word for word. Jamie, will you marry me? He. And then it says, I'm JK, but I love you. Smiley face.
Okay. No JK, he, yes.
Whoa!
There you have it.
There you go.
Get to Vegas.
I have another question from Sam. Sam? Oh boy. Okay. My question is for Ryan. Will you marry me? Double wedding.
I guess we're going to be celebrating together.
What is in the water here?
Well, they're sharing a chair too, so.
As long as you brought the rings.
You guys bring rings? Your mom told you. Your mom told you to bring rings.
Not right now.
These two are kind of crazy, but what's the craziest thing a fan's ever done for you guys?
Well, we always say that our fans are not like crazy in a bad way, they're crazy in a good way. And one of the coolest things that's happened to us is in Amsterdam. We just recently played a show there, and these 4 girls took it upon themselves to cut out over 750 hearts. And we have a song called Keep You With Me. And as soon as we started playing that song, they all held these hearts up in the air, and the hearts said, "We keep you with us."
Wow, that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
We all
it was.
cried.
Yeah, we kind of wanted to weep.
Is there a video or pictures of that?
There's pictures, yeah.
Yeah, I posted it. Actually, right when they did that, it was at the beginning of the song, and I like ran off stage and grabbed my phone, which was down in our guitar tech's little area, and ran back up on stage in time to like take a picture while everyone had the hearts up.
Awesome.
And then I like tweeted it.
Did you Instagram it?
But yeah,
Do you guys have Instagram?
of course.
Yes.
Is it dope? I've heard mixed things about it.
It's cool, except for all the androids that are on it now.
I like it.
Do you feel like a legit photographer when you take it and it's like...
It makes you feel way better than you are.
Anyone can be a photographer with an iPhone.
You can make.
Exactly.
Thank you.
So when that song hit the radio and the album came out, how many of you guys got texts from my ex-girlfriends being like, hey, was that about me?
Not yet.
Not me. I bet Nashville though.
And it
One
wasn't
day.
about somebody in particular?
It was kind of, we were just kind of all just talking about ex-girlfriends, and that day we happened to be talking particularly about one of Nash's.
Mine earned more conversation than the other ones. Even though we've all had crazy exes,
Yeah.
I think I win the battle of having the worst craziest.
Yes.
Car keying?
It got close.
Yeah.
Lots of threats were made.
Oh, that's awesome.
We felt like we all kind of had to like dated her because she was such a rough one.
I think when you're in a band, you all date each other's girlfriends in some capacities, and it better be somebody who can get along with the group, or everyone's going to be miserable.
Yeah.
So,
So are you guys single right now? We dating? What's going on with that?
I'm
Those
single.
ladies in the crowd.
Single.
Not
this side's single.
Not single. How hard is it touring then if you're not single? Is that difficult?
She's cool, so it's not. It's hard, but it's we've been doing this for a long time, so.
Did she have you as a ringtone? Be like, hey, it's my boyfriend calling. You hear the song? I would. I would totally do that. Like, oh, sorry. You hear this ringtone here?
You would do that if you
Yeah,
dated
or
me?
like my cover photo on Facebook and be like, circle and say like boyfriend pointed there, or girlfriend, whichever. That sounded weird, actually.
I was just about to ask you.
I saw the profile picture you have now is One Direction and a circle. And
Well,
arrow.
they're British, so...
I don't know the name of the one you circled out.
Lewis, the guy with the suspenders, anybody? I'm kidding, by the way. Or am I? Next question. From Megan. Where's Megan at? Megan?
Hiding in the
She's
back
right
with the
there,
glasses.
hiding
okay.
behind you.
Megan wants to know how long it took you guys to get to where you are. Not in Des Moines, in general.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I don't know.
45 minutes.
Yeah, it's been a long journey. We started writing songs and kind of figuring out where we were going to go with this about 7 years ago, and took about 2 years to get the band kind of solidified as any kind of band at all. Probably for Jamie to graduate high school and actually join and make us complete and start sounding good. And then
You had to graduate high school in order to do so. That was very, very important. No, but it's been a long time.
yeah, we've been on the road touring for probably 3.5 years, I think.
Was there ever a time when you guys thought like, oh, maybe it's just not going to work? I mean, 7 years is a long time.
Oh yeah,
You know?
there's a lot of those times.
It's crazy because we didn't ever really ask ourselves that question.
Well, we always like mindlessly just
Kept going.
were persistent, but there was definitely times where like, okay, what are we gonna do now to try a new angle? It was lots of rejection.
Yeah.
Right.
Finding a record deal is not easy these days.
Yep.
But I mean, we finally did, and the right one came to us. and
I'm
we're
glad we
still
didn't go with the metal sound that we were trying to think of.
Hardcore. Now that you guys, I mean, the album's obviously a huge success. Is there pressure from the label maybe, or people to get back in the studio like right away and produce more hits? Because the album's deep on hits too. It's not just like one song and then like my Terror Squad album from like 2004.
I think that we put so much pressure on ourselves to always be better and to outdo the last song we wrote, much less the last album we do. And so I think the label is aware of that, and I think they're more confident in us than in most cases because we are going to make sure that we put out better material and have more singles and hits to follow.
Any possible collaborations on the next album that we could?
Oh, I'm sure there'll be some. We're not quite far enough along to
Thinking about
say anything.
Ice-T.
Ice-T? How about like the Tupac hologram that was at Coachella?
That was way too cool. We need Tupac on the record. He's alive anyways. Look,
That'd
he
be-
just walked around in front of people and people are still thinking he's dead.
I'm sure like half the people at that concert were probably high off their ass. Thought,
Oh,
oh god,
I know.
he's here, awesome, and didn't
Yeah.
realize he was a hologram.
I can't
Seriously,
imagine.
I saw the video. I was like, wait. a
How did they
second.
end it? They just like turn him off.
He like stood there like this, and then he like faded into thin air. So if you're high at that point, and then Tupac disappears out of thin air, you're never gonna smoke that stuff again.
Greatest Coachella ever.
Can you imagine being Snoop Dogg though, and you're like performing a song with your friend who
What?
died that you used to perform with him? Like that's got to be really trippy, and he's more high than
I
anyone
was gonna say Snoop looked like, wait a second, he's still here.
But you
What's
know
going
he was
on?
high when he thought of this idea. He
Oh,
was
yeah.
like, hold on a second.
Why did he come back?
I'm thinking about a hologram.
I couldn't imagine that conversation. Like, we're gonna bring Tupac back as a hologram, and be like, no.
Yeah, I was just talking to Snoop, and he wants to get a hologram of Tupac for this Coachella.
That'll be $500,000.
If you guys
Okay.
could hologram anybody to be performing at your show, your next show, who would it be?
I mean, I would probably go with Michael Jackson. You probably go with Freddie Mercury.
I would go with Biggie and start a hologram rivalry.
Ooh, East Coast, West Coast.
Who comes back the best?
They would shoot each other.
If they could reenact the moment in the hologram,
Did
we'd
see
find
what
out what
actually
happened.
happened at your guys' show? That'd be viral sensation. Let's get that started.
Yes.
We'll work on that. It's the next idea. Okay, next question, Miranda. Where's Miranda?
Back here.
Okay, she wants to know, how do you guys pick yourselves up when you've been knocked down?
Ooh, that is a good question.
I
I
mean,
mean, how we did that.
it definitely helps being in a band, so you have friends around you that kind of make it really hard to stay down no matter what. And you know, we've got a lot of people around us encouraging us, but we definitely have big dreams all the time. And there's no way to ever get to anything that's difficult without just continually being stupid enough to not give up.
I would say remaining focused. There were definitely times when something bad would happen, or your song would stop climbing the charts, or a tour would fall through, or this label didn't like you. And as long as you know what the end game is, and know that you're going to make it no matter what, and just continuously are supported by the people around you, you're not going to fail. It's impossible.
That's a great answer.
We studied hard.
She approves of the answer.
Okay,
So
good.
that's how
We practiced that all morning before we got here.
music is such an important part of people's life. Everybody's had that go-to song when you're having a bad day. You put on that song, makes you feel better. I mean, realistically, there's people who listen to Hot Chelle Rae songs, pick them up. How rewarding is that for you guys to know people turn to you to turn around their bad day?
It's awesome. I mean, it's one of the many reasons we do music, if not one of the main ones. I know that for me, music is always something that I turn to, and to be able to be the musical shoulder that people lean on is the coolest thing in the world.
And then how many guys, so there's like 12 songs on this album, right? Or 11?
11.
How many songs didn't make the cut, if there were any?
Lots. I think we got down to 14 that everyone, us, the label, like producers, everyone was just in love with. And once we got down to that, we were like, all right, who wants to pick the 3 we kick off? And we all kind of got together, and it was painful, but we're like, these songs, like these 11 are the key elements to what we want to say and what we want to give our fans, and so they're the must-haves. And the other ones we will sneak out online like afterwards, but we don't want to get too many songs either, because you don't want songs to get lost.
Right.
If you give somebody 14, 15 songs to listen to, they won't be able to focus on as many songs.
Rihanna? Anybody? Throwing it out there. So how many songs we have written for the new album?
100.
100? Really? Wow, that's not bad. It's gonna be a big album. Big CD.
Yes.
We did. I don't know how many we have written, but we all did writing in we had, the only month we really had off was, we had most of January off, which was crazy. And we went and wrote, and we got a few, but I don't know the number.